So apparently, Greta Van Susteren is still in the news business, and she is on Voices of America. That's not Voice of America, is it? Yeah. Is it? It is. Yeah. She's on Voices of America. She is interviewing Donald Trump. I mean, it is a little bit weird that you have Donald Trump sticking it to Canada and then going and sort of like providing all of this, I don't know. I mean, it's possible none of this diplomacy stuff is really meaningful in any, real way. But it is a little bit weird, I got to say. But here is Donald Trump standing in front of some American flags and some North Korean flags, being interviewed by Greta Van Susteren, and just talking about what a good guy. I mean, now let's just remember, this is a man who is personally responsible for hundreds, at least probably dozens of killings, right? I mean, it could be thousands.
Oh, definitely could be more, probably personally in the hundreds.
Like, yeah, I'm saying like that guy. I want that guy. My brother, dead.
Uncles,
brothers. Didn't he kill his brother?
He had his brother. Yep.
So just now, I know it's as much as this may upset, Jennifer Palmieri or whoever. There's still a reason to sort of say, like, maybe you should be a little bit less generous with your praise for someone who is a mass murderer.
Nice to see you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you, Greta.
Surprised to see you here all the way in Singapore.
Well, it was a good place, and you're the only one I've done an outdoor interview, and it's about 130 degrees, but that's okay.
I think it's about 150, but anyway. What surprised you today about Kim Jong Un?
Pause it. Hold on for a second.
That's some real classic banter to open the exchange right there. Singapore sure is hot this time of year.
Didn't it have like a quality of like, I don't know, some type of PSA, some type of like weird, like Disney quality, like, really hey, what are you doing here in Singapore? Well, I always like to come to Singapore. Why
I
not?
think the golf courses here are great. Hey, why do you always praise that guy who had his uncle burned to death in front of him? Well, because he's a great guy.
If Greta's surprised to see Trump in Singapore, she's not a very good journalist. But anyway.
What are you doing here?
Exactly. In fact, what am I doing here?
I was on a Scientology retreat.
Wait, what surprised you today about Kim Jong Un?
Really, he's got a great personality. He's a funny guy. He's a very smart guy. He's a great negotiator. He loves his people. Not that I'm surprised by that, but he loves his people. And I think that we have the start of an amazing deal. We're going to denuke North Korea. It's going to start immediately, and a lot of other things are happening.
Maybe just a little bit on the overkill there. He could have even gone with.
He keeps saying that they're going to denuke, and there is no evidence that that is part of the deal. And the question is, does the guy not know that, or does he just say, like, we're going to say that because I'm not going to have to, we're going to be able to play this out for long enough for it to have for me.
It's leverage.
Value.
It's everything he's ever done in his life.
Exactly.
We have an intention. We have a future projected earning.
Exactly. Boom. I mean, but the point being, the question is, does this come back to bite all of us in the ass or not? Maybe it just plays out. Everybody sort of like winks and nods and just says they're not denuking, but at least there's no war. Or is it in 6 months, somebody says, hey, President Trump, you said that they were denuking and they haven't done anything in 6 months.
I think the question is what types of small scale, mainly symbolic things can all of the stakeholders keep finding to give each other to keep that ball rolling? That's the name of the game.
Assuming that all of these stakeholders want to do that, because a large part of the national security apparatus of Donald Trump's handpicked government does not want that.
Right.
So,
That's right.
I mean,
Although Pompeo seems on board.
Pompeo seems on board with it.
Interesting.
Pompeo seems on board with it. There's also reports now that the summit was never canceled, that this was all just a play, essentially a drama to make it seem like to raise the drama.
Right.
And if they're operating on that level of sophistication, it's not inconceivable that Mike Pompeo's role in this drama was to make it look like we're forging a deal.
That's right.
And
Kissinger was famous for always talking to journalists about how they were trying for peace behind the scenes and like, just trust us, we're working on it, sort of thing.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you know, there is no reason why we should take all of this at face value, particularly when there is nothing that's being presented that indicates any substantive change in what's going on. I mean, just as it's a little bit overboard to say you've wasted all of the cachet of giving Donald, of the U.S. presidency and the flags and this and that, a little overboard. It's also a little overboard to say like, oh, they've met together, because Donald Trump will meet with anybody if he feels it's going to, give him a week's worth of good news. So we'll see.
I think that's basically true in terms, especially with regards to the week's worth of good news part.
Yeah, of course. Here is.
I do think that is. I mean, I think it's good to keep noting. You're right. Like the situation there in terms of how people are treated will be used for political gains, and there's U.S. hypocrisy and blah blah blah. But it is important to to kind of continuously point out that they literally do have gulags there, and they do have the system of repression in that country is state of the art and probably the worst on the planet. It is really obscene. That shouldn't be forgotten.
Yeah, it's really bad, and this deal may or may not end up doing anything, but I just want to remind everyone that the U.S. has done deals with plenty of evil dictators in the past, and even
I'm all in favor of a real deal.
Yeah, of course. It's just it's just not letting it get forgotten in all of the hoopla.
Yeah, sure.
That's all.
I would not want to live there.
No, you would not do well there.
Great.
You would be like, yeah, I'll tell you about a socialist interpretation. You shut your mouth.
They have really impressive halftime shows.
They have great railway systems inside Pyongyang. Some of the districts where people live that are more privileged are super developed, which is really interesting.